The cafeteria was filled with laughter. Not the happy kind, but the cruel kind that cuts through silence like a blade. Everyone was watching, phones out, ready to record the new girl's humiliation. A group of boys surrounded her, one of them grabbing her arm and twisting it back with a smirk. "Let's see how tough you are now," he sneered. But before anyone could even blink, he was the one screaming, clutching his shoulder on the floor while the girl just stood there, calm, her eyes full of something no one could describe. What no one knew then, what they all found out later, was that this quiet new girl had been through worse battles than any of them could imagine. The first day at Lincoln High was already heavy for Maya Thompson. Her backpack was old, her clothes simple, and her eyes tired from nights of little sleep. She walked with her head down, not out of fear, but to avoid attention. She had learned long ago that attention rarely brought kindness. Maya had just transferred from a different city. Her mother had moved them to start fresh after her father passed away. He'd been a military instructor, strict but loving. Maya had grown up watching him train soldiers in their backyard, not knowing that those lessons would one day protect her. But now she just wanted peace. No fighting, no standing out, just a quiet life. As she walked into her first class, whispers started almost immediately. "Who's the new girl? She looks weird. Why is she walking like she's scared of everyone?" Maya heard every word, but she kept walking. Her father once told her, "You can't stop the storm, but you can decide whether it breaks you or not." Still, the day was rough. At lunch, she sat alone, quietly eating the small sandwich she'd packed. She noticed a group of popular kids at a nearby table, loud, laughing, throwing fries at each other. One of them, Ryan, seemed to be their leader, tall, athletic, confident, and cruel in a way that made others follow. He noticed her, too. "Hey, look at the new girl," he said, smirking. "She looks like she hasn't smiled in years." His friends laughed. Maya ignored them, focusing on her food. Ryan didn't like that. Bullies rarely do. The next day it got worse. As she walked through the hallway, someone accidentally bumped into her, knocking her books down. She bent to pick them up, only to find Ryan stepping on her notebook. "Oops," he said, pretending to be apologetic. "You should watch where you're going." Maya looked up, not in anger but in quiet strength. "You should too," she said softly. Something in her tone made him pause for half a second, but then he laughed it off. Over the next few days, Ryan and his friends kept testing her. Comments, pranks, small pushes in the hallway. They expected her to cry or react, but she didn't. She simply endured day after day, walking away with that same quiet look that none of them understood. But what no one saw were her nights, when she would sit on her bed, staring at the old photo of her dad. "I miss you," she whispered. "I'm trying, Dad. I'm trying to be strong, like you taught me." She'd then kneel on the floor and practice, slow, controlled moves her father once showed her. Stances, holds, balance. Every night she trained, not to fight, but to protect herself. That strength was about to be tested sooner than she thought. It was Friday. The cafeteria was loud, packed, and chaotic as usual. Maya had found her small corner seat, reading quietly while eating her lunch. Ryan walked in with his group, loud as ever. He spotted her again and smirked. "Watch this," he told his friends. They walked over to her table. "Still alone, new girl?" he teased. She didn't answer. "Come on, say something," he pressed, knocking her juice over her book. The table went quiet. Everyone around began to watch. Maya took a slow breath. "Please move," she said. "Oh, or what?" Ryan laughed. "You'll cry? Or tell a teacher?" He reached for her arm, gripping it roughly. "Let's see if you can at least stand up for yourself." The entire cafeteria turned. Phones came out. Some kids shouted, "Fight! Fight!" Ryan twisted her arm slightly, and that's when it happened. In one fluid motion, Maya stepped forward, turned her body, and flipped his arm out of the lock. Ryan yelped in shock as his balance broke. Then, with a swift twist of her wrist, she redirected his motion and he fell hard to the floor, clutching his shoulder in pain. The crowd gasped. Silence filled the room. Maya didn't hit him. She didn't even look angry. She just looked down at him and said calmly, "Never touch someone without their consent." Ryan stared up, red-faced, humiliated, pain in his shoulder. His friends didn't move. They were frozen. The principal arrived moments later, hearing the commotion. "What's going on here?" The students started explaining, but the truth was clear from every video already spreading across the cafeteria. Maya hadn't attacked, she had defended herself. Ryan tried to play victim, but the footage showed everything. The principal gave him detention and ordered an apology. For the first time, Ryan's confidence was gone. He mumbled, "I'm sorry," not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Maya nodded slightly and walked out. The video spread through the school within hours. By evening, everyone was talking about her. But what surprised them most wasn't the takedown, it was what came after. That weekend, a few students saw Maya training alone in the park, focused, graceful, and powerful. They learned her father had been a military instructor who died in service. Maya had taken self-defense classes for years after that, not to hurt others, but to protect herself and others from harm. When Ryan found out, something changed in him. The next Monday he walked up to her, no smirk, no crowd. "Hey, I just wanted to say I was wrong," he said quietly. "You didn't deserve any of that." Maya nodded. "Just remember," she said gently, "you never know what someone's carrying inside them. Be kind. It costs nothing." He smiled slightly, awkwardly but sincerely, and walked away. That week, everything changed. Ryan stopped bullying others. He even stood up for a smaller kid who was being picked on. Maya's quiet strength had done what no teacher or punishment could. It made him see the truth.